ladies and gentlemen. Like McLean Stevenson and Shelley Long leaving hit TV shows to become Hollywood megastars, this is The Discriminating Gamer. Ladies and gentlemen, speaking of megastars, today we're going to take a look at a game that has received a lot of praise over the past few years, and one I'm just getting around to taking a look at. I am, of course, talking about Trains from AEG. In Trains from AEG, 2 to 4 players are going to attempt to build the best railway station that's going to give them the most points, but they're going to do it with, of course, a deck builder mechanic. That's right, this game takes the deck building that we all know and love and puts it into a board game. This, of course, has been around for a little while now. Trains is one of the first to really successfully incorporated it. But again, I haven't played this game before, so I'm just going to tell you briefly how it works, then get right to my review. Essentially, this is a deck builder game. You're going to get a hand of starter cards that each have a certain amount of coins or a certain amount of abilities on them. You're also going to set out a certain number of set cards you use in every game. You also have several randomizer cards that you're going to mix together. You're going to draw 8 of them, and whichever 8 they belong to, you're going to put those specific cards out kind of in your common area. These are cards that anybody can buy during the course of the game. Now, players are going to put a cube, which represents a track, somewhere on the board. Now, you've got a map of Tokyo and a map of Osaka. You're going to put one of your cubes somewhere on the board. Now, you have various cities, then, of course, where you can build stations, and then, of course, you have kind of open fields, you have mountains, you have rivers, and you have kind of these off-site remote stations. Now, what you're going to do on your turn is with your hand of starter cards, you are going to be able to play them. Now, if they've got, like the normal train, they've got a coin on them, you can use that coin to buy cards. Cards are the cost of the card is located in red in the upper corner. Or you can do something like lay rails. If you lay rails, essentially you put the card down and you can lay one of your cubes on the board. Now, if it's just an empty, open spot, you can just lay it down. There's no cost. If it's into a city, you have to pay, 1. If you're onto a river, you have to pay 1. If you're in the mountains, you have to pay 2. If you're going to one of the remote locations, you have to pay whatever that remote location number is. Now, if there is another cube, somebody else's cube in that spot, you would have to pay another additional coin. If you go into a spot that has a train station, you would have to pay 1 for the city, and then, of course, 1 for the train station. If there's another cube there, you'd have to pay 1 more for that. So things kind of get more expensive the more stuff there is in a particular location. You can also play build a station, which essentially allows you, again, to place a station in one of the cities. That doesn't cost you anything, but when you do either of these actions, lay rails or build a station, you have to draw a waste card to put into your deck, into your discard pile. Now, these waste cards do absolutely nothing. They just take up space. They're like vulnerability cards in the DC Comics deck building game, or wounds and legendary. And so you don't want these waste cards, but in order to do these important things to win the game, you, of course, need to take waste cards. Now, some of the cards you can also buy are like the landfill card. The landfill card, essentially, when that comes up in your hand, if you have any other waste cards in your hand, you can just get rid of them. That's what that allows you to do. There's some other cards that have abilities that let you get rid of waste as well. There's some cards you can buy that just give you victory points at the end of the game, but you have to take waste when you get them. There's all sorts of different cards that have different abilities that you can buy if you have coins left over, or if you can't lay a track or build a station, you can just kind of dedicate yourself to buying some of these other cards. Now, you can only build tracks, of course, adjacent to where you already have tracks. So you're trying to expand your kind of tracks out into the board. Now, at the end of the game, you're going to score on just a few factors. You're going to score on if you are in cities that have a number of stations. The number of stations, of course, are going to score you. And then, of course, you're going to get scoring from any of the remote locations that you have made your way to. For instance, if you've got a cube in a remote location with 4, that's 4 victory points. Now, as I say, some of the cards, too, in your hand, in your deck, will also give you some victory points. You add up all of those victory points together, and whoever has the most wins Trains. So, as I say, I am extraordinarily late to the party with Trains. I'm very late to the party because, again, this is a game I bought a while ago, and I just never got it to the table. I finally got it to the table because, again, I wanted to see if this was a game I was going to take with me when I move. And I'd heard so many good things about this game. I'd heard this is just phenomenal, and I'd heard some people say a little bit later it kind of gets old, and I've heard a lot of things back and forth, but my initial impressions was this was a very popular game that people really enjoyed and still enjoy. I wanted to play it. I was kind of a little thinking I'd go into it and maybe it would be a little talked up for me. And after having played it, and after having kind of considered it, I played it a few times now, and after having considered it, I can say I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I love the deck builder element of it, but then I love seeing the board evolve and the competition for area control. Not necessarily area control, but I guess kind of an area control, not exclusive area control. That really impressed me quite a bit. I really, really enjoyed that. I really thought it was a lot of fun. This is just a super game that I think fans of deck builders will love, fans of terrain games will love, and just, again, area control and ideas of area control. People will like that. And I like all three of these things. Terrain games probably the least. I do like them, but not a lot. You know, I played this with Holly. Holly was just so on it. Holly thought that the game was, she said, I'd rather play Ticket to Ride. Not me. I actually like this more than Ticket to Ride by a good margin. I like Ticket to Ride. Ticket to Ride's a fun game. This is a game I like better than Ticket to Ride. And I'm looking forward to playing this again. I'm definitely going to take it with me when I move to Texas. So the recommendation for the discriminating gamer for trains is buy it. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. We are The Discriminating Gamer, and with the success of trains, pretty soon I'm sure AEG is going to come out with planes and automobiles. What's that? They have. They have come out with planes and automobiles. So the joke was kind of meaningless. Is John Candy in the game? He's dead. I know. I know.
Please somebody help me on my feet again, and I don't know where I'm going.